Steve Wallace, Chief Technology Officer at DISA, welcome. It's good to see you again. What are the technologies that you're paying attention to now that will manifest themselves 3-5 years out? What are you looking over the horizon at right now, Steve?
So first, thanks for having me. There's a number of them, right? Everyone's, for the last several years, been quite excited about AI, but a lot of it's been what's the practical application of AI, not simply sprinkling it about and saying you're using it for everything, but what's sort of the practical application? I mean, the workforce is changing. How can we leverage some of these capabilities, whether it be generative or that type of thing, in order to help augment the workforce and make the workforce stronger? There's other places where things like NDR, network detect and respond. We did EDR, the endpoint detect and respond, years ago. Well, now we're seeing those capabilities sort of evolve in the in the network side of things, and basically help the analysts to diagnose attacks, remediate, and have a number of integrations. So again, that force multiplier, and a lot of those use AI of some measure, but they, there's very specific point cases where we're looking at it now. Another one within the next few years, we're finally seeing quantum resistant cryptography get a foothold. And so really excited to see that happening. And as that starts to roll in, we're already seeing vendors integrated into their products. So that's another place that I think over the next few years, we're going to see a massive push towards quantum deploying algorithms that are quantum resistant across the entire enterprise.
The quantum discussion is fascinating to me because maybe even at this show last year, but in the not too distant past, the discussion was, well, quantum's coming, but it's kind of way out there. And now people are talking about quantum like it's either right around the corner or will be here any second now. Is that a fair read on my part?
It is, and you've seen a number of breakthroughs. You've seen a number of companies announce new ways of doing quantum chips, new quantum chips, evolutions, additional qubits. It's really been for them about getting to as many error-free qubits as possible, and they seem to be making strides in that space. I mean, the thing to bear in mind is that the quantum compute is good for particular use cases. It's not going to replace classic compute across the board, but it's something to pair up with classic compute to really change the game. Things like material science, medicine, that sort of thing. But for us, most importantly, the side of cryptography that we've all thought is reasonably safe for the foreseen future. The quantum machines will potentially be able to pop in seconds versus years that the most powerful traditional computers would take. So it does seem to finally coming to bear. And the biggest thing with it is there's no defined point on the calendar where, yep, we're gonna, by this date we are going to hit the ability to crack encryption, which means that we need to double our efforts now to be ready for when that day happens.
Yeah. You said that quantum is not for every application. How do you evaluate or determine what quantum is good for and what it's not necessary for? Or is it self-evident because of the nature of the application?
A lot of it, frankly, has been through reading, talking to some of the quantum scientists. It's still something that's pretty well niche. So we don't think that we'll have a quantum computer in a DISA data center anytime soon. But we are talking to a number of the cloud providers who have integrations today commercially about how can we bring it to vehicles like JWCC and integrate it across capabilities that we already have, because there are a number of use cases that we could see the services and the DAFAs, et cetera, with needs. Organizations like DARPA, they will likely have need for quantum. I know they're already working in that space, but how do we commoditize it and make it more readily available to the department?
When we were here last year, you and I talked about modernization. What is the modernization journey like at DISA, given that we're now talking about things that a year ago, like I said, nobody was talking about quantum as being right around the corner. Nobody was talking about generative AI being a huge component of daily use in any organization in the department. Nobody even probably knew the term agentic AI at that point. So what does a modernization journey look like in an organization where these things are coming, seeming like out of the woodwork?
They are, and that's where we rely heavily on our vendors, our partners, those sorts of things that are coming to us constantly with the latest and greatest. This is what's going on here. This is what's happening here. It really becomes more about us to evaluate what's real, what's potentially maybe overinflated? And then how does it actually apply to our mission? And it is increasing rapidly day by day. We're seeing new and interesting things along the way, new uses. And what's really interesting is to talk to the folks in the workforce, their particular roles, the ones that are super motivated to bring new technologies in. How are they leveraging the new technologies? Maybe not even at home, or maybe not even at work, maybe at home. How are they using it at home? One of our folks, she was explaining to me the way that she and her daughter have used generative AI in a number of ways. And it's ways that wouldn't have occurred to me otherwise. But it's how are we empowering the workforce to take advantage of these tools and using the great ideas that they bring to the table with it.
Quick final thought, about 30 seconds left. How big an issue is interoperability when you talk about all of these things that are coming online, or maybe things that you don't know about that will be coming online between now and the next time we get together?
Interoperability is huge, and it is a significant problem. APIs are there, and APIs are always useful and are a good way to start to sew systems together. But a lot of times the interoperability at the platform layer is driving a lot of challenges for us across the department. We are not one singular IT enterprise. There's many different vendors in similar spaces across the department. So how do we get them to work together, work with the standards bodies to come up with the standards for interoperability? But interoperability is key to allowing us to move forward and getting the best outcome for the user.
Steve, it's great to have you here again. Thanks for joining me today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.